In number 4, we are trying to identify whether this triangle really is a right triangle or if it's an acute or an obtuse triangle. And the way that we're going to do that is to set up the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and see if that really works. If it really works, then it must be a right triangle because the Pythagorean theorem only works with right triangles. But if we find out that we've got one side that's actually larger, let's say the a squared plus b squared side is larger, that means this is going to be an acute triangle. If we would find out that the right side is larger, then this would be an obtuse triangle. Okay, so let's fill in the values that we know of to see if this equation balances or not. And so we first identify the largest side, which is 32.5, and that would serve as our C side. In other words, it's going to be the hypotenuse if this ends up being a right triangle. So that's what I'm going to plug in over here for the value of C, 32.5, and don't forget to have that be squared. The other two values, the 19.5 and the 26, will be our A and our B. Doesn't matter which order you put them in. I'll put the 19.5 first. So 19.5, we have to square it, and then the 26, and we have to square that. So now it's just a matter of working through the rest of these values, squaring them to simplify and add them together. So we'll start with the 19.5, and if I multiply 19.5 by 19.5, I get a value of 380.25. Next one is 26. If I take 26 and square it, I get 676. And then the last one, 32.5 squared, ends up being 1056.25. Okay, so now I just need to simplify the left-hand side, and I want to take that 380.25 and add it to the 676. And when I do that, I get 1056.25. And look at that, it's the same as the right-hand side, 1056.25. And that tells me that this side was not any larger than this side, but that they really were equal. In other words, the Pythagorean theorem really works. Since the Pythagorean theorem only works in right triangles, this must be a right triangle. And if you wanted to, you could identify back across from the hypotenuse is where you would find that right angle.